I'm Brianna.
And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So, in what has been a huge topic in the sport of boxing, Superman Adonis Stevenson, he chimes in on what he thought about the Kovalev-Ward fight and what he thinks about Sergey Kovalev, his performance against Andre Ward. Let me go ahead and quote what Adonis Stevenson had to say recently to a reporter about Sergey Kovalev. Quote, "I saw the fight. Kovalev was tired. First of all, Kovalev was tired after 4 rounds. He looked like a 4-round fighter. He fought Andre Ward and not Bernard Hopkins, who is old and doesn't move as much. It's not the same thing. He fought Andre Ward and I saw Andre Ward win the fight. Boxing is not only the first few rounds. If it goes all 12 rounds, then it is all of the rounds. Kovalev talked a lot of shit that he was going to knock out Andre Ward and do this and do that. And when he got in the ring, it was different. You see that Kovalev was tired after 4 rounds. His legs were tired. I think Andre Ward saw that he was tired and saw that the power wasn't the same. If you can punch the same way after 12 rounds, maybe it is different, but he couldn't do that." End quote. Now, the first thing I want to say is Adonis Stevenson saying that Kovalev was tired in the fight and he looked tired. Even Sergey Kovalev himself admitted that he was tired, and that's why he slowed down in the second half. I mean, he used other excuses as well, but the very first excuse he used right after the fight was he got tired in the second half. So he agrees with Adonis Stevenson's assessment when it comes to that. You heard Adonis Stevenson say he thought that Andre Ward won the fight. This is not a 4-round fight. You have to be as strong from the first round as you are in the 12th round. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what I just read to you guys, what he actually said. Now, going back to this decision, since we're talking about this decision, Adonis Stevenson is talking about this decision. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question, and I've asked numerous people who I've had these conversations with, why is it whenever someone says Ward won a fight, remember this fight was extremely close. When people say Ward won the fight, these fans, they get so upset. It becomes so personal. I mean, it's like a gangbanger telling his fellow Bloods, you know, them Crips, they seem to be a lot more organized than us, and they can fight better. This is how these decaps take it when someone says that I thought Andre Ward won the fight. Once again, I'm gonna say it again. When I hear people say, I thought Kovalev won the fight, I thought it was a draw, I never have any problem with people saying that because it was a close fight, okay? Something else you notice, whenever there's a fighter on the coincidental list, matter of fact, let me ask you guys a question. Can you guys recall the last time there was a close fight and the fighter on the coincidental loss, he came up on the short end of the stick, like they say Sergey Kovalev did? And it was this much anger in the boxing community where everyone was saying, oh man, Lara got robbed, or Nicholas Walters against Jason Sosa, that wasn't no damn draw. That was some terrible judging, etc., etc. You guys know that Nicholas Walters won that fight. The same people, and when I say the same people, I'm talking about the majority, not all of them, but the majority of the same people that are sitting over here angry about the Kovalev fight, when Lara fought Canelo and Lara lost that fight, they defended the winner. They didn't defend the guy that a lot of people thought won the fight, Edeslani Lara. When Nicholas Walters got a draw against Jason Sosa, which was a clear win for Nicholas Walters, these same fans didn't come out and say that. So we know what time it is at the end of the day. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that every single person that said Kovalev won the fight is a decaf, because that's not true. The majority of them are. Some people just will score in the fight. But my point is, you cannot tell me one time when a black fighter was on the short end of the stick in a very, very close decision, and the same people that are complaining about this decision, they complained about that decision. Why is that? That's a rhetorical question. So anyway, getting back to Adonis Stevenson, and you know what, before I even get to Adonis Stevenson, I want to say to the fans that have a hard time swallowing the truth, maybe because of their own guilt of what type of person they are, or whatever reason, they have a hard time dealing with the truth, and you claim you don't want to hear about racism and racial double standards. I don't want you on this channel, okay? So I want it very clear that, for the people who don't want to hear the truth, I don't want you on the channel. So you can go ahead and stop watching the videos, unsubscribe, do whatever it is you have to do, because you are a part of the problem, all right? On top of that, any fan that will complain about someone reporting double standards, you have a problem with them reporting it, but you never say anything to the actual racist people in the comment section, the people that are calling black people niggers and monkeys constantly in the comment section. You don't ever ask them the same questions you ask a person who's reporting the racism. For example, if you say to a black person, hey man, why does everything have to be about race? Why are you talking about race? But you never ask the person who's calling black people all type of racial slurs in the comment section. You never ask them that question. That tells us exactly what type of person you are. I want people to understand something. There is no such thing as acting like racism in boxing, it doesn't exist. Racism is a part of life, and it is certainly a part of boxing. So as long as it exists, we will continue to talk about it. Just like boxing is a part of sports. It's the sport that we love. As long as boxing exists, we're gonna keep talking about boxing, right? It's funny how people pick and choose what they don't want you to talk about. Because when they're talking about a fighter's personal life that has nothing to do with boxing, you don't hear anyone say, hey man, let's just keep it boxing. Why are you guys talking about that? They don't say that kind of stuff. It's only when it comes to this particular topic of race, because that's when they feel threatened. That's when they feel guilty, because they are part of the problem, you see. So with that being said, when it comes to Adonis Stevenson and everything he said about Sergey Kovalev, I would love to see Kovalev versus Adonis Stevenson. I think that the one thing that Adonis has over Andre Ward is natural power. I believe Adonis has the power that can match Sergey Kovalev's power. And the fact that he's a southpaw, it would be really interesting to see how that fight will play out. I've been back and forth on who I think would win this fight, but it would be a great fight. I mean, you hear Adonis putting in his bid that he can go 12 rounds and fight strong for a whole 12 rounds, but of course he would have to avoid getting caught with something in the first 6 rounds like Andre Ward did. So, it'll be interesting if this fight takes place. For those of you guys who don't know the history of both of these fighters, there was a time when Team Kovalev was pursuing the Adonis fight, and people were blaming the holdup on Adonis Stevenson. Then later on, Team Kovalev, their contract expired with HBO, and they had an option to fight Adonis Stevenson, and they turned down the fight because they didn't want to go through a purse bid and fight on either Showtime or just fight on a PBC channel. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to fight on HBO only. So that's the reason why we didn't get the fight at that time. Now, I'm just hoping that, these fighters are willing to compromise and make this fight come to fruition. because I truly believe that Adonis versus Kovalev would be an extraordinary fight. It would be an exciting fight to watch. Adonis Stevenson, he also talked about announcing his next fight very shortly. I know he's going to have to fight his mandatory, the undefeated fighter, Alvarez. That's another tough fight for Adonis Stevenson. So we'll see what happens in the near future. That's all I got for now, and I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.